Reality is listening to you now. Every breath you take is a message, a silent code sent to the universe. And while you believe you're just breathing air, the field around you is adjusting, reshaping events, rearranging coincidences, rewriting possibilities. Nothing is still. Nothing is neutral. The air that enters you is the same air that shapes what happens outside. You think you're just living, but you're transmitting. Every emotion, every thought, every pause between them alters the field that surrounds you. The world doesn't respond to what you say you want. It responds to what your body actually vibrates. And most of the time, this vibration isn't conscious. It's repeated, inherited, automatic. That's why life feels like a loop. People change, places change, but the plot is the same. There's a hidden error in almost everything you've been taught about changing your reality. They said it was enough to desire more, think positively, and imagine the right future. But the universe doesn't understand desire. It understands frequency. And frequency isn't born of the mind, it's born of breathing. Air is the invisible thread that connects the internal and the external, the personal and the cosmic. Each inhalation ignites a field. Each exhalation erases what no longer serves. Think about it. When you're afraid, your breath shortens. When you feel peace, it deepens. This isn't a coincidence, it's language. The body is the antenna of consciousness, and air is the signal it transmits. And while you breathe automatically, the universe replicates old patterns, believing that's how you want to continue living. It's as if the field is always waiting for new instructions, but you haven't yet realized that you're giving these instructions all the time. Now, imagine for a moment that there's a tiny, almost imperceptible point between the end of your inhalation and the beginning of your exhalation. A pause so brief it goes unnoticed in your haste. It's there, exactly there, that the field becomes malleable. A microscopic space where the universe listens without interruption. It's the instant when reality awaits its new command, and almost no one uses it. What would happen if you learned to write in this space? If instead of reacting to what already exists, you chose what you want to emit before the world responds? Because, whether you realize it or not, with every breath you take, you are already writing. And the field, faithful and patient, continues to copy the story your air dictates, a story that can change the very moment you awaken to the power that breathes within you. There's a moment when everything seems the same path, the same words, the same reactions. And yet, something subtle begins to shift. It's not the world that transforms first. It's the way your body translates it. It's almost imperceptible at first, a breath that flows differently, a calm that arrives without warning, a silence that settles between two thoughts. This is the point at which the field begins to reorganize. For years, you believed that reality was a logical sequence of actions and results. That all you had to do was do more, try harder, think harder. But there's an invisible layer underpinning all of this, an energy field that responds not to what you do, but to who you are while doing it. And this difference changes everything. Effort born of scarcity generates noise. Movement born of coherence generates response. The universe doesn't need convincing, it simply mirrors what you transmit. Imagine yourself walking down a familiar street. People rush past, the air vibrates with sounds and lights. Suddenly, you stop. Just for a moment. And in that instant, the noise seems to fade away. You feel your body, hear the sound of your own breathing. Your mind wants to keep running, but something inside you has already realized. The field doesn't react to haste, it reacts to presence. It's as if time opens up space between seconds, and everything becomes clearer. It is in this space that reality begins to shift. Not because you command it, but because there is finally clarity for the field to respond. The world doesn't bend to your will, it reorganizes itself according to the state you sustain. This is why certain people seem to live in tune, not because they are lucky, but because they have learned to remain in that silent spot where the universe listens. And it is here that many feel the urge to linger. Because something within recognizes that there is truth in this silence, in this almost sacred pause between one breath and the next. This is why so many choose to remain, following each new revelation, feeling the field align a little more with each word, with each pause. But there's something almost no one notices. The field doesn't just reflect what you feel, it amplifies it. And what you let vibrate in it doesn't disappear, it expands. The question is, What are you feeding with your own breath? The answer begins to form now, subtle, invisible, ready to reveal itself with the next breath. This is where most people lose their way, the moment the field begins to respond. The mind, accustomed to control, tries to understand, measure, and classify. But the invisible cannot be explained, only felt. When you begin to change your internal rhythm, reality reacts in ways that seem random. People move away, opportunities open up, forgotten memories return. And it is in this apparent chaos that the new begins to emerge. Transformation rarely comes with flowers and clarity. It arrives disguised as disorder, loss, and silence. What you called stability begins to crumble, not as punishment, but as liberation. It's the field cleansing itself, undoing old frequencies that no longer support who you're becoming. The body feels it first. Fatigue sets in, a lump in the throat, the urge to stop everything. But it's just the system learning to vibrate differently, and that requires space. Imagine an old house being renovated. Broken walls, dust in the air, nothing in place. Discomfort is the price of the new foundation. The same happens within you. Each deep breath removes an invisible wall. Each sincere pause opens a window to the fresh air of consciousness. Yet, this is where the temptation to give up arises. Because the old, even limited, is familiar. And the new, even liberating, is uncertain. It's at this point that the shadow manifests. The doubt, the fear, the urge to return to the familiar. The mind says, nothing is changing. But the field whispers, wait. And as the conflict unfolds, the air continues to flow in and out, patiently rewriting the story you can't yet see. Each cycle is a new line, a silent attempt by the universe to show you how much is still possible. There are moments when the whole body seems to resist, as if breathing itself were painful. But it is in this pain that reality reveals itself. Because the field can only respond to what is true, and truth sometimes dismantles what seemed right. It's a process of shedding old frequencies, emotional masks, and the repetitions that kept you trapped. And when the air enters, softly, for the first time after the chaos, there's something different. A barely perceptible sound, as if the universe were breathing together. It's the sign that a connection is forming, still fragile, but alive. And even if you don't understand everything now, there's something greater approaching, a revelation that only reveals itself when the heart finally learns to hear its own silence. Then something begins to shift, not outside, but inside. The air feels thicker, more present, as if each breath carries with it an ancient memory, a forgotten echo of who you always were before you tried to control everything. There's a tenderness that seeps through the cracks of fear, a warmth that comes not from the body, but from recognition. Because suddenly, in the midst of uncertainty, something inside you realizes it's not breaking, it's making space. This is where many become confused. The mind wants to hurry, to understand what's happening, to return to its former sense of mastery. But the field doesn't move under orders, it moves in tune. And tune isn't rushing, it's surrender. The universe doesn't respond to those who shout the loudest, but to those who breathe the deepest. Sometimes, it's in the breath you let out without realizing it that the field hears you for the first time. Perhaps that's why there are moments when loneliness seems strongest, when the noise of the world fades away and only the sound of air flowing in and out of your chest remains. And, curiously, that's when life begins to listen to you. There's nothing to prove, nothing to achieve. Just the simple act of existing, of breathing with intention, of allowing the invisible to do what it has always known how to do. It's at this point that many feel the urge to support this journey, leaving a silent sign that the message has touched them, like someone recognizing their own reflection in the mirror of their breath. Think about it. The air you breathe now has passed through mountains, oceans, other bodies, other eras. It carries memories of everything that has ever lived on this planet. And now, passing through you, it becomes new. You are the point where the old becomes the future. With each breath, creation repeats itself, but never the same. And perhaps that is the true magic, realizing that, even amidst chaos, life continues to write beauty with your breath. What seemed like destruction was actually reconstruction. What sounded like silence was the pause before the new music. There's a hidden meaning in every void, a hidden answer in every pause. But to hear it, you have to stay. Breathe in again. Let it out again. Because it's in this space, between the air coming in and the air going out, that the mystery begins to reveal itself, and something much greater is about to emerge. There's a moment when the air seems to hold something more, a hidden intention, a meaning beyond words. That's when you begin to realize that breathing isn't just a physical act, but a silent form of communication. The field understands what you can't yet say. It translates what's between the lines of your emotions. And that's why certain changes happen without warning, as if an invisible intelligence were rearranging the threads of your story while you simply breathe. Most people try to interpret this with their minds, but the mind can't translate what the body feels. Because the body is the first to know when something is changing. It vibrates differently. It anticipates. And sometimes, when the field begins to shift, discomfort arises, a heaviness in the chest, a sudden chill, an unnamed emotion. It's not fear. It's expansion. It's the sign that the invisible is crossing the visible. Imagine an underground river running silently beneath a city. For years, no one hears it. Until one day, it finds a way through. The earth shifts, structures tremble, and the flow finally emerges. So it is with you. What was contained begins to flow, dissolving walls, washing away memories, erasing patterns you didn't even know you carried. But with release comes emptiness, and emptiness is frightening. Because in it, everything that isn't true disappears. This is where many confuse loss with purification. When people move away, when paths unravel, when certainties crumble, the mind calls it collapse. But the field calls it space. The space that the new needs to exist. It is painful, yes, because the ego clings to what is familiar, even when it no longer serves. But there is beauty in this surrender, the same beauty that exists in the silence before dawn, in the calm before the wave. And if you pay close attention, you'll notice something curious. The more you let go, the closer the world gets. Things that seemed distant begin to recognize you. Coincidences increase. Answers come in unexpected forms, a look, a phrase, a small event that seems designed just for you. It's the field responding to your new frequency. But there's still a layer that few perceive. The field doesn't just respond, it tests. Before opening fully, it wants to know if you've truly changed. And it's in this silent test that many fall back into the old pattern. The universe observes not what you say, but what you vibrate when no one is looking. And it's precisely at this threshold, between what was and what isn't yet, that true power begins to reveal itself. It's curious how life behaves when you begin to change from within. Things that once seemed solid begin to shift, as if the ground had become liquid. People you thought were eternal drift away silently, and others, whom you never imagined, approach as if they'd always been waiting for this moment. The field reorganizes reality not logically, but coherently. It removes what was out of tune and brings in what vibrates in the same tone. And in this process, you begin to understand that losing is also a way of being found. There's an instant, almost imperceptible, when everything is suspended. As if time holds its breath along with you. Neither forward nor backward, just a space between two worlds. The old still echoes, the new has not yet formed. And it is in this gap that the miracle resides. It is there that the soul decides whether to trust or try to control what it cannot understand. Many experience this moment as anguish, but it is, in truth, the first breath of reality. The darkness that comes before the light is not absence, it is preparation. It is the womb of rebirth. Just as a seed needs dark soil to germinate, consciousness needs silence to expand. There is beauty in this inner darkness, even if the mind struggles to escape it. Because it is there that the field works in secret, rewriting invisible lines, dissolving what you called destiny and redesigning what was always possibility. But this transition demands presence. You can't cross the invisible by running. You have to walk barefoot, feeling the ground move beneath your feet. Some days you feel whole, luminous, in tune with everything. On others, the same air seems heavy, almost immobile. And yet, everything is working. Because the field doesn't seek constancy, it seeks truth. It adjusts to the rhythm of your sincerity. And the truth, sometimes, hurts. It shows you where you betrayed yourself, where you kept quiet, where you tried to be someone you weren't. It's a mirror that's both relentless and compassionate. It doesn't judge, it simply reflects. And when you finally stop resisting, the image begins to change. Not by magic, but by coherence. Your breathing slows. Your body softens. And the silence that once seemed empty begins to sound like music. This is the point where the field watches you silently, as if holding the last thread before showing you the other side. Air enters, air leaves, and something is about to reveal itself. Something that comes not from outside, but from within, from a place where time and space cease to exist. Reality, in that instant, awaits your next breath. When the field begins to respond, something curious happens. Reality, which seemed firm, becomes malleable. Small coincidences multiply. A thought lingering over coffee turns into an unexpected encounter hours later. A decision postponed for months is resolved with a simple impulse. The world around us seems to acquire a new language, and each event becomes a message. It's as if the universe begins to speak the language of synchronicity. And the more you observe, the more you realize that nothing is coincidence. Everything is a response. But this new phase also reveals a paradox. The field returns what you emit, but not in the form the ego imagines. It tests your intentions. It shows the reflection of what is still misaligned. When you desire something out of fear, the fear returns. When you act out of scarcity, the lack echoes. It's an accurate and silent mirror. And understanding this isn't easy, because it requires honesty, the kind that hurts, but liberates. It's the moment you realize that manifesting isn't about asking, but about allowing. Many reach this point and try to speed up the process, thinking that intensity is the same as depth. But the field responds to coherence, not haste. It's like planting a seed and then shouting for it to grow. Sound doesn't accelerate the sprout. Care does. Time, silence, presence. The same goes for you. Each breath is a drop of water in this invisible soil, and the more consistent the rhythm, the more fertile the ground becomes. Sometimes the universe tests your faith disguised as delay. Other times, it's disguised as silence. It's easy to believe when everything flows. The real leap comes when nothing happens, and yet, you continue to believe. That's when the frequency stabilizes, when the field understands that you vibrate not just out of desire, but out of conviction. It's a silent pact between what you are and what you are becoming. And at that point, something begins to mature. There's no longer frantic searching, there's observation. There's no anxiety about results, there's curiosity about the unfolding. You begin to move with the field, not against it. It's a kind of dance, one learned with the body, not the mind. And each step taken consciously reverberates. It affects people, spaces, events. You realize that the impact isn't just in what you do, but in the state in which you do it. This is when many feel the urge to share, not out of vanity, but out of recognition. To record a thought, a feeling, an insight. As if the act of writing were also a way of anchoring the frequency they're experiencing. And perhaps this is what the field expects, that you speak up not to prove you know, but to echo what you feel. Because every sincere word is a sign, and each sign, a reminder that we are all breathing within the same field that, now, begins to respond more strongly. As the field begins to reorganize around you, something silent shifts in the fabric of time. What once seemed random begins to fall into place with almost poetic precision. The right people appear, the right conversations arise, and even delays begin to make sense. But along with this clarity comes a different kind of challenge, that of sustaining the new vibration when the old still tries to pull you back. Because every transformation provokes resistance. And the first to resist is your own body, accustomed to repeating the familiar, even when the familiar hurts. There are days when everything flows, and you feel the world respond with lightness, as if breathing in tune with the universe. But there are others when the air feels heavy, emotions dense, and your mind tries to translate the invisible into logic, and fails. It's on these days that the field tests your stability. It wants to know if your new frequency is a flash or a state. If you vibrate only when everything is favorable, or if you can remain even when the sky darkens. It's easy to connect to the light when it warms you. The real learning is to stay connected when it disappears from the horizon. The field moves like the tides, it advances and recedes. And each retreat is an invitation to consolidate what you've already received. The silence between the waves is the space where the new version of you begins to form. It's there that the invisible sculpts you, removing what's left, refining what remains. There is a wisdom in contrast that few perceive. Pain and expansion are not opposites, they are rhythms of the same process. It is the same force that breaks the cocoon and spreads its wings. The same heat that destroys metal makes it malleable. The same field that silences the old echo is what gives birth to the new melody. The challenge is to remain sensitive enough to feel what is being created, without losing oneself in the fear of what is being erased. And there's beauty in this erasure. Life, when it wants to align you, doesn't shout, it rearranges. Sometimes, what seems like chaos is just the universe shifting the pieces on the board. You haven't lost anything, you're just being repositioned. The pauses, the voids, the uncertainties, everything is movement in disguise. The field doesn't miss a beat, it's the mind that hurries. And then comes the moment when everything goes silent again. Time seems to stop. There is no answer, no signal. Only the sound of the air itself moving in and out. It is in this emptiness that the field observes you. It knows it is about to reveal something to you, but it wants you to prove, with presence, that you are ready to see. Because what comes after this silence is not an explanation. It is a mirror. And in it, you will recognize the true reason everything is changing. There comes a point when the field stops responding like an echo and begins to act like a living mirror. It not only reflects what you feel, but amplifies it. Small distractions become signals. Unresolved emotions take shape, showing themselves in relationships, in gestures, in the pauses between one word and the next. Reality, at this point, is no longer external. It is an extension of your own internal state. And realizing this changes everything. Because you understand that each thought is a seed, and the air you breathe is the soil where it germinates. It's at this stage that most people get scared. Because the field isn't content with the surface, it goes deep. It brings to the surface what has been denied, forgotten, pushed into the darkness. Old dreams, old pains, patterns that seemed buried. Everything returns, but not as punishment. It returns as an invitation. The universe doesn't want to punish you, it wants to show you what still vibrates out of tune. And it's impossible to adjust the melody without first hearing the noise. You begin to notice that the people around you also shift roles. Some depart with the ease of fulfilling their role. Others reappear unexpectedly, bringing the missing mirror to close a cycle. The field organizes these reunions with invisible precision, as if each soul were a note in a symphony that you're only now beginning to listen to attentively. It's beautiful, but also challenging. Because the same consciousness that frees you is the one that exposes you. The illuminating light also reveals the dust on the ground. It's natural to want to escape the discomfort, to try to sweep it away quickly, to return to the illusion of purity. But camp doesn't accept makeup. It demands authenticity. And authenticity hurts, because it demands surrender. It asks you to look at yourself without a filter, without stories, without excuses. To take a deep breath and accept that evolution isn't constant brilliance, it's continuous polishing. This is where air becomes your most intimate ally. Breath becomes the thread that guides you through the shadows. When everything seems heavy, it anchors you. When fear whispers, it responds with presence. Each inhalation is a return, each exhalation, a letting go. You begin to understand that you don't need to fight the darkness. Just hold your breath until your eyes adjust to the light that arises within. And when silence returns, it no longer frightens. It welcomes. Because now you know that this void is fertile, that this gap between what was and what is becoming is the exact point where the new begins to breathe on its own. There is still no answer, only a premonition. Something moves beneath, subtly, like an undercurrent preparing the next unfolding. And the field, patient, watches, waiting for the moment when you finally realize that the miracle was never outside, but in the air that comes and goes, silently, writing everything anew. And then, the field finally stabilizes. Not because something magical happened, but because you learned to stay. Breathing, once automatic, is now conscious. Each inhalation is a return, each exhalation a surrender. Air is no longer just oxygen, it has become language. And in this language, the universe speaks to you silently. You no longer need to force anything. What is yours comes, what is not dissolves. There is no struggle, there is flow. And what once seemed an inaccessible mystery is now simply naturalness, the way life has always wanted to dance with you. The field responds like a clean mirror. Everything you vibrate returns multiplied, and this changes the way you move in the world. Words gain weight, gestures matter, and gazes become tools of healing. Even the simple act of breathing next to someone creates subtle waves that transform the space. This is where responsibility blends with privilege. Realizing that you are a point of constant influence, a luminous node within the living web of reality. The world changes because you have learned to remain coherent, and this silent presence is what the field understands most. It's not that the pain disappears, it changes roles. It becomes a sign of misalignment, a reminder that something within you has moved away from center. And instead of reacting, you observe. Instead of resisting, you breathe. Instead of trying to fix it, you listen. This is the turning point where control turns into trust. It's when ego gives way to awareness, and effort becomes surrender. What was once a distant realm reveals itself within your own chest. There's a moment when everything falls into place. The past ceases to be a burden, the future ceases to be a threat. Only the now remains, broad, breathable, alive. It's like waking up in a dream and realizing the dream is you. The air comes in and out, and in that movement, reality reshapes itself in real time. Small synchronicities continue to emerge, but now you understand, they aren't miracles, they're reflections. The universe has always responded. You just weren't quiet enough to listen. And perhaps that's why so many people stop right here. They feel something move, an old memory awaken, and suddenly they understand that the power to change reality was never outside. It's in the breath they chose to ignore, in the silence they avoided inhabiting. When they realize this, something inside them ignites, and it's in that instant that the field expands. If something inside you vibrated while reading, don't ignore it. That's the field responding. Leave a trace, a word, a written breath. Share what you felt, because every time someone awakens, the collective field grows stronger. And if you want to continue breathing this same air of discovery, stay here. There are more layers to explore, more worlds to open. Because, in the end, the truth is simple. Reality has always been waiting for your breath to begin again.